But right now, time for Word on the Street. We're going to check in with the panelists and find out the stories that they're watching. Jeff, in your opinion, what's the stock market's biggest asset right now?
I do think it's sentiment, and we touched on it earlier. And this is not a commentary that I believe that stocks are going to rocket higher, but I do think it puts somewhat of a floor under prices right now. When we're talking to our clients, that means it's not time to sell, it's not time to panic, it's not time to incur taxes. If you look at the AAII survey, the percentage bullish was below average, even at the all-time high in July, now even further below average. And I mentioned the options market on...
So wait, negative sentiment is the thing that is positive,
it's a good
is what
thing.
You're saying.
You have policy uncertainty incredibly high. There are actually policy uncertainty indexes. And I think what you see there is that doesn't necessarily translate like for like into actual economic pain. But what it does do is it keeps sentiment subdued, and that's a good thing for the market going forward. The put-call ratio, I mentioned it quite a bit on the show, but we've been bumping into that 95th percentile. So again, some fear in the marketplace there. And when you're consistently in that 95th percentile, returns over the next 3 months, so think from now until the end of the year, are usually quite a bit above average, over 4% for the S&P versus just a little bit over 1% for all observation. So you have this sentiment tailwind that even if you see an inverted yield curve, even if you see issues with trade, it does put somewhat of a floor under the market. So I think that's a positive here.
Interesting. All right, back to the trade war for Rick's Word on the Street. You're looking at a new report that talks about how many jobs the trade war has already cost the U.S.
I am. I'm always looking at the trade war and what's the latest. Moody's Analytics has now put out an analysis. They say the trade war has already killed about 300,000 jobs here in the United States. That's in manufacturing, distribution, transportation, warehousing, retail. And that's probably a combination of jobs that have actually disappeared because companies had to eliminate those jobs, and then other jobs that were not created simply because we have lower economic activity on account of the trade war. Mark Zandi, who is the chief economist at Moody's Analytics, told me that if this continues, if we just carry on with the status quo where Trump has said he's taking us with the trade war, that'll add up to 450,000 foregone jobs by the end of this year, and by the end of next year, it will be 900,000 jobs we don't have that we otherwise would.